Welcome aboard with Lady Justice, Liberty Press, Season 7, The Revenge of the Records. Who's in?
Today, we are going to dive into a case that completely changed the game for every single one of us with a smartphone. It's an incredible story about one family's fight for a right that honestly is crucial for holding power accountable. So let me ask you a question. It seems simple, right? You're walking down the street, you see something happening, and your first instinct is to pull out your phone and hit record. But can you actually do that? Is that instinct protected by the law? Or can an officer just tell you to put your phone away? You know, for years and years, nobody really knew. It was this massive, dangerous gray area. Citizens thought one thing, police officers often thought another, and that confusion led to a lot of confrontations, and it left a huge gap in public accountability. Well, this is the story of the family that decided to challenge all that. And our story doesn't start in some fancy courtroom or a big city. Nope. It starts in a small town, Cumming, Georgia, with a pretty ordinary family who ended up in an absolutely extraordinary fight for their rights. So, back in the late 90s, the Smiths felt like they were being unfairly targeted, even harassed, by the local police. And they did what a lot of us might do today. They decided to get proof. They started carrying around a video camera with them, to document what was happening during their interactions with police out in public. Well, things went south pretty fast. The police didn't just ask them to stop, they actively interfered, telling the Smiths flat out they couldn't film. Convinced their First Amendment rights were being stomped on, the Smiths sued the city. But they just hit a brick wall. The first court actually sided with the city, saying essentially that there was no such right to record police. It was a huge setback, but believe me, their fight was nowhere near over. And this is the turning point. The Smiths just refused to take that first ruling as the final word. They knew in their gut that a fundamental right was on the line, and not just for them, but for literally everyone. So, they took their fight up the ladder to the U.S. 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. Now, you gotta understand, this was a big deal. Whatever this court decided wouldn't just affect the Smiths. It would become the law for Georgia, Florida, and Alabama. I mean, everything was riding on this. And boom. This is the moment that changed absolutely everything. In the year 2000, the court came back with a decision that was just crystal clear. They said, and I'm quoting here, "We agree with the Smiths that they had a First Amendment right to photograph or videotape police conduct." This was just a massive, massive victory for citizen rights. So why did they rule this way? What was the logic? Well, it was actually kind of brilliant. The court basically said, look, free speech is great, but how can you speak out about what the government is doing if you're not allowed to gather the information in the first place? See? Filming is an act of gathering information. It's the essential first step that makes all the other stuff, transparency, public discussion, accountability, even possible. Okay, but hold on, because here's where the story takes this really fascinating, kind of weird turn that a lot of people don't know about. The Smiths just established a fundamental right for millions of people. But what happened in their own personal lawsuit? Well, that might surprise you. And this is just a perfect example of how the legal system can be kind of complicated. While the court made it official that everyone has the right to record, it also found that the Smiths, in their specific case, hadn't proven all the technical, legal requirements to get money for damages. So they won the giant war for civil rights, but they actually lost their own personal battle for compensation. In a way, their victory became a gift to the rest of us. So what does all this history mean for you right now, today? Well, because of what the Smith family went through, that phone in your pocket isn't just for calls and texts. It's a recognized tool for democracy. But, and this is a big but, with that power comes a whole lot of responsibility.
This part is so important to get right. The court was super clear that this right is not a free-for-all. It's not absolute. It has limits, what they call reasonable time, manner, and place restrictions. It's all about finding a balance.
So, what does that actually mean in the real world? It's pretty simple, really. Don't get in the way. You can't physically interfere with what officers are doing. You can't obstruct them while they're doing their job. And of course, this right applies when you're on public property where you're allowed to be. The whole point is to be a witness, to document, not to become part of the situation. So, what if you're out there filming and an officer tells you to stop? What do? Okay, step one, always, is your safety. Nothing is more important. If it feels safe, step two is to calmly and respectfully state your right. Something simple like, "Officer, I am on public property and I am not interfering," is perfect. And step 3, just remember your goal. You're there to document, not to pick a fight or make things worse. When you really think about it, the legacy of the Smith family is something you carry around with you every single day. Their incredible courage in what must have been a very lonely fight set a precedent that has empowered so many people to bring a little more transparency to the world. At the end of the day, a court can recognize a right, but that right is only powerful if we, the citizens, know it exists, if we know how to use it responsibly. The Smiths fought that battle so that you would have this tool in your hand. So the real question is, what are you going to do with it?
Have you heard the word? thepolicerecord.com/invite/LJLP. Get you some discountage over there at thepolicerecord.com. Hope to see you there.
I think one of those ones good.
I messed up, sorry.
I think one of them is good. I think we're good. You want to do it again? All right. Okay. I'm not going to say 3. I'm going to say 1. I'm going to say 2. And then we're going to start. Okay. 1, 2.
Keebler AI Music.
Beneath the city lights, you stand so strong, the silent guardian, where the rights belong. Through the crowd you see the truth unfold, your heart beats steady, your hands are bold. In the silence, in the pain, you watch over us through the rain. Every moment you stand tall, Lady Justice, you hear the call. With every move you fight for the free, justice shines in your eyes, can't you see? With every word, every glance that you make, remind us all there's a difference to take. Lady Justice, you carry the weight, you hold our hearts.